Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Red Donkey Projections. I'm Lucas, and unfortunately Eric couldn't make it today, but I'll be going through today the 2021 Virginia governor election results. I'll be going through what exactly happened and what this could mean for the 2022 midterms. And with that being said, let's get right into it. So this election was probably a surprise for most people. Definitely was a surprise for us. Of course, in the coming days, Glenn Younkin did eventually catch up a lot compared to before, but we always thought that Terry McAuliffe would take the win. As you guys know, we had this race as lean D, and of course, it ended up being lean R. So 2021 has not been the year for predictions for us. We got quite a few wrong this year so far. But anyway, what exactly happened in the final days of this election? I think the biggest problem that happened in Virginia, at least for Terry McAuliffe, was he kept trying to bring the focus of the race onto Donald Trump. He kept trying to tie Glenn Younkin to Trump, and that ended up, I guess, turning off some voters or just not persuading them to go out and vote. Terry McAuliffe really had a lot to run on. His record as the governor, he had lots of job growth, a great economy under him. Unfortunately for him, he didn't really campaign on those issues. On the other hand, Glenn Youngkin focused a lot on those individual issues. Specifically, he was able to use education. You know, who would have thought that education would have been the biggest issue in 2021 in this governor election? And it was very surprising for me to see. You know, COVID-19 wasn't even that big of an issue. Instead, Youngkin was able to capture the idea of education and parents having a role in, choosing what the schools teach, and especially on critical race theory. Honestly, critical race theory isn't taught in like kindergartens or I don't know, elementary schools in Virginia. But Glenn Youngkin was able to take the idea of critical race theory and just completely spin it and, say, oh, this is so bad for our young children. Kind of like what Donald Trump and the Republicans did with the idea of defund the police. Joe Biden didn't support defund the police, and most Democrats don't support defund the police. But he was able to capture that and spread this false idea that somehow if Democrats win, they're gonna, defund the police, or if Terry McAuliffe is gonna win, he's gonna push critical race theory in elementary schools, which of course isn't true. But that focus on individual issues, state issues with Glenn Youngkin ultimately propelled him to win. If we look at the individual results now, this is the New York Times results. Of course, Terry McAuliffe is going to lose by around 2.9 points. This is the 2020 presidential results. Biden obviously had a very, very strong victory here, a 10-point victory, which is one of the reasons why we really didn't think that the state would flip, even if Terry McAuliffe wasn't running that great of a campaign. When we look at the map, we see a lot more red in basically all of the state. If I show the shift map here, everything is red. But the main area where Terry McAuliffe ran greatly behind Joe Biden was in central Virginia. This region here. He just ran very far behind. Where Joe Biden was able to at least minimize the number of votes that Trump got here, Terry McAuliffe really didn't do too well in doing that. The other big area was Northern Virginia, Loudoun County. Everyone was hyper-focused on this. Biden won this county in a blowout, and McAuliffe only won it by 10 points. So just a reminder, these Northern Virginia areas, this is a lot of the DC suburbs, the places that have trended trended a lot to the left in recent history. And that's what's been propelling Democrats to win in the state. And what happened on election night was a lot of the voters who supported Youngkin came out. He had a lot of energy on his side, especially in these Northern Virginia areas, whereas Terry McAuliffe really didn't have enough energy to, get his base fired up. He kept trying to mention Trump, but that didn't really fire up his base enough. Maybe if he focused on more issues that actually affected the population in Virginia, he might have gotten more people to come out and vote for him. Again, these Northern Virginia counties were crucial to Glenn Youngkin's victory. What Youngkin was able to do is he now creates a model for Republicans to run on in other states. Glenn Youngkin was able to keep Trump at bay, which I believe is what CNN kind of said. but also include some of his stuff in his rhetoric. He never directly campaigned with Trump or strongly supported Trump like someone like Amanda Chase did, but he was able to kind of promote a lot of those policies, and that helped him retain rural votes in Southwest Virginia, which is how he was able to maintain, actually do better than Trump in a lot of these southwestern counties, but also earn back suburban voters or get suburban voters to turn out for him, which is what we saw in central and northern Virginia. So that's exactly how Glenn Younkin won. But now, what does this exactly mean for 2022? And honestly, as we mentioned in the New Jersey video, not a good sign. And I remember reading somewhere that the Virginia 10th district, which is currently Jennifer Wexton holds it, who won it in 2018. She won it in 2018. Terry McAuliffe barely won the district, which is surprising because Jennifer Wexton won by a very large margin in 2020 and 2018. So that's very scary for people who want to go and win in the House in Virginia. But specifically, what should concern Democrats is this Glenn Youngkin model of keeping Trump at bay, but also promoting some of his policies to keep suburban voters, but still energize that Trump base. We could see a lot of Republicans in 2022 running on that exact same message, or even running on critical race theory, even though, again, it's not really true. So this definitely does affect our 2022 predictions. We haven't come out with them yet with the Senate and the House or the governorships, but trust me, we changed it a lot after this election because we saw how the national environment right now, which is one more thing I wanted to mention, the national environment right now under, the favorability of Joe Biden is quite low. He's in, I think, I want to say the low 40s right now, which is really not good for an incumbent president. That's slightly higher than what Trump was at. If Joe Biden isn't able to get his approval rating up to a survivable point by 2022, we quite frankly could be seeing a red wave here, which typically happens because it's an opposition midterm. But we're going to just wait and see what exactly occurs because, again, these results for Democrats are really not good, especially in a state that Biden won by 10 points. It shows that energy is simply not on the Democrat side, and they got to win back those suburban voters that they might have lost tonight, or not tonight, but Tuesday night. And that marks the end of the video for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this episode, please hit the like button. If you like our content, please subscribe. And we'll see you in our next episode tomorrow. See ya.